I'm Sarah Gore, and this is Open House NYC. This week we get an inside look at how various people design and live in the place they call home. We see how this LA fashion blogger remade her home while preserving its original charm. And speaking of original charm, you are going to be floored by this restaurateur's opulent and colorful Newark home. Singer-songwriter Gordon Chambers gives us a peek inside the Fort Greene home he's dubbed Lovesong. Plus, we check out how this architect created a comfortable home for his family without sacrificing style and sophistication. But before all that, we are inside the elegant Brooklyn abode of fashion designer Adam Lippis.
I love interior design because it allows me to play not on a form. I can play in real sort of 3D space. So I feel like it gives me a lot of freedom.
Welcome to Open House NYC. Today I'm coming to you from this impressive duplex penthouse on the Upper East Side. This airy 5-bedroom home celebrates a traditional layout where each space has a defined purpose, from the living room to the dining room. The marble floors of the entry give way to herringbone wood, while archways and crown moldings add architectural interest to the entertaining spaces. And these large windows keep everything bathed in natural light. And speaking of light, upstairs features a unique solarium where you can bask in the sun or relax in the moonlight all year round. At the end of the day, you'll retire to this corner master suite with iconic Central Park views. We'll reveal the price of this 3,700 square foot home at the end of the show. But if you're feeling inclined, send us your guesses at Open House TV. Well, today's show is all about homeowners giving us a look into their personal style and design. And we are starting things off in Brooklyn Heights with fashion designer Adam Lippis. Adam's home is a distinct melange of the classic and the eclectic, reflecting the confident elegance of his aesthetic.
Hi, my name is Adam Lippis. I'm a fashion designer based here in New York City. Welcome to my home in Brooklyn Heights. The building was built in the mid-1800s by the man who actually developed all of Brooklyn Heights. The best thing about the building is it's right on the East River, so we have this incredible view of downtown Manhattan. You walk into the living room, and the first thing you're hit with is this crazy rug. It's floral, there are birds. It's actually a Portuguese needlepoint rug from the 1940s. The first thing that drew me to the rug was the scale. The second thing was the pattern and color. Again, I'm a fashion designer, so I love pattern and color. I found a Russian 19th century cabinet at auction. From that cabinet, I moved to a desk. The desk is Swedish, 18th century. Most of the seating is Swedish as well, from the Gustavian period. The round sofa, I actually designed it and had it made here in New York. There's trim on it, and that comes from a fashion designer from the 50s. The classic name for the sofa is a tête-à-tête, which means head-to-head in French. I love lighting, but I don't like a lot of lighting. So there's a lamp on the floor that's quite tall, then there's a small lamp on a table, then there is a lamp for a picture over a cabinet. So there are different levels of lights. Before you get to the bedroom, on the left, there is a seating area, sort of a lounge, which is the best place in the house to sit back, lay down, watch TV, or read a book. It might be the most bold room in the house. The walls are covered in a chinoiserie patterned linen. I carry this pattern onto the sofas. The room is not very big, so instead of a coffee table, I took a prayer bench from an English monastery and put it down the center of the room. And underneath it all, just to bring that mix to the next level, I added an Uşak carpet. It's from Turkey, from about 1900. I love it so much that I also did one in the bedroom. There was a great 6-panel Japanese screen in the bedroom. Above the screen, there's a mirror, and then there are birds. There is a very grand tented bed in that room. The bed is actually in the middle of the room. It's floating in the space. Instead of bedside tables, there are 2 bar carts on either side of the bed. It's so fun, the idea of having a bar cart there in case I want to have a drink in bed. And they serve every purpose that every bedside table would, from books to my lamps. And of course, I can't forget the lighting. There is a picture light, there are bedside lamps, there's a floor lamp, again creating all of these areas. As a fashion designer, I love interior design because it allows me to play not on a form. I can play in real sort of 3D space. So I feel like it gives me a lot of freedom. I hope my home has inspired you to mix and match, and most of all, just have fun. Thank you so much for coming.
Coming up after the break, the owner of the hip city eateries Red Farm and Decoy takes us on a tour of his home in Newark, New Jersey. Welcome back. Now we're in Newark, New Jersey with Ed Schoenfeld. The home was built over 100 years ago, but was lovingly renovated with interiors by rising design star Sasha Bykoff, who, as regular viewers know, has been featured numerous times on Open House. This project shows off her bold use of color while maintaining original architectural touches and highlighting Ed's vast collection of furnishings and artwork. Take a look.
Hi, my name's Ed Schoenfeld, and I'm the owner and creator of Red Farm and Decoy restaurants. And we're here at my home in the Forest Hills section of Newark, New Jersey. So our house is a Georgian revival house built in 1908. Our house is very ornately detailed on the outside with an elaborate limestone doorway and beautiful brickwork and shutters with half moons in them. Come on in and we'll show you around. Here we are in the beautiful foyer and entryway of our house. This room features 7 different archways. Also original to the house are these fantastic old sconces. The switches on them are original Thomas Alva Edison switches. The living room is a room that we hang out in every day. It's a great place for sitting and talking, the way the chairs are arranged. The motif here is pink and white with accents of blue and green. One of the really greatest parts of the living room are the big windows and the views of the beautiful garden. Let's go take a look. Our garden is like a little private oasis. I'm in the restaurants every night. It's loud, it's cacophonous, and then suddenly I come home and I hear the sound of running water. The garden has different sections. We have a curving pathway and a beautiful statue. Over on the other side of the garden, we have a beautiful flower bed. In the other corner, we have a hot tub. In the back, we have a gazebo with a little bridge. There's not too much in life that I want that I can't get right here. As you can imagine, as a restaurateur, the dining room was one of the most important parts of our house. I think what makes a good dining room is having a table and chairs that are the right size so that all the people at the table can relate and talk to one another. So right here we have this swinging door, the kind you'd see in a restaurant. In fact, it's the entrance to our kitchen. A well-designed kitchen is one where everything is very easy to reach and convenient. You don't have to walk around too much. That's not necessarily the case in this kitchen. Things are still close enough and there's enough expansiveness to enjoy yourself in this kitchen. I love to cook every day if I can. I'd say in the last 50 years, I've probably cooked 98 or 99% of the days. Thanks so much for coming to visit us at our Newark home. 4 stars for me.
Coming up after the break, we are in Soho at the home of a designer and architect. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Open House NYC. Now we're in the Soho apartment of designer and architect Luca Andresani. Luca's home is the perfect balance between the dramatic and the whimsical. Luca knew it had to ultimately be a warm and comfortable refuge for his family and that little bambino of theirs. Take a look.
I'm interior designer and architect Luca Andresani. Benvenuti to my apartment in Soho. The apartment is located within the first residential tower ever built by star architect Red Sopiano in New York City. The building is super modern and features apartments with very tall ceilings and windows that wrap around the entire facade. And to contrast the minimalist exterior, I wanted the interiors to feel glamorous and sophisticated, but yet comfortable and inviting. Right off the entryway, we have this open great room, and I wanted each area to have its own spirit. The living room is the place where my family and I entertain or simply watch a movie on a lazy Sunday night. I wanted this room to feel very glamorous, where the attention to details and perfection feel almost obsessive. The furniture primarily consists of vintage pieces reupholstered in rich fabrics, cottons and velvets. To add some theatricality to the room, I selected this incredible Italian chandelier with geometric pendants, a 7-foot-tall ginkgo leaf brass floor lamp, and these beautiful hand-embroidered drapes. Like everywhere else in the apartment, the art is displayed in a seemingly random layout, which not only helps to create some visual interest, but like in this case, helps to distract from the TV. Finally, to add some humor to my design, I introduced this super colorful hand-painted folding screen and scattered around several playful accessories. In the middle of the great room, we have the dining area. I stayed away from bulky pieces of furniture and instead selected a very gracious table and chairs. To tie this area with the living room, I used a bold emerald green fabric with a strong geometrical pattern. I installed these whimsical fornacetti dishes on the nearby wall and chose this very playful centerpiece for the dining table. Now, the study is really my favorite part of the apartment. The overall look is achieved by using exotic materials and mixing them with rich woods, rich upholstery, and a carpet that is super bold in its geometry and colors. And for added privacy, I installed these beautiful white oak floor-to-ceiling sliding doors. Last but not least, my daughter's room. Just because this is a kid's room, I didn't want to deprive it of the sophistication and glamour that you experience in the rest of the apartment. Therefore, I adopted this vintage dresser and used it as a changing table and installed this gorgeous Art Deco glass mirror right above it. I reupholstered a mid-century sofa and flanked it with Hollywood Regency side tables. And to add a little fun, I introduced these lucite lamps. I hope you've enjoyed taking this journey through my apartment, and I hope I inspired you to always be bold and creative in your own design.
Luca definitely created a stylish and comfortable home for his family in an architecturally unique building. So any guesses on the home I'm in right now? 3,700 square feet, 5 bedrooms, Upper East Side? We'll reveal it at the end of the show, but we still have much more ahead.
I think when people come in here, they feel good and they feel like they can dream.
We'll be right back. Welcome back to Open House NYC. Now we're with singer, songwriter, and record producer Gordon Chambers at his home in Fort Greene, Brooklyn. Appropriately named Lovesong, this is where Gordon resides, writes, and composes with some of the top names in the industry. Gordon filled the home with special art and memorabilia he's collected throughout the years so he can remain inspired and inspire others. Take a look.
Hi, my name is Gordon Chambers. Welcome to Fort Greene. This is my neighborhood, and this is my house, which I call Lovesong. So it's been 15 years as a solo artist and 25 years as a songwriter and 20 years in this house. It's a house filled with memorabilia from my travels all over the world, awards for songs and collaborations that I've done with artists to be a source of inspiration. Come on in. So this is a classic, what they call this is an Italianite brownstone. This house was built in 1903. When you first walk into my home, you're greeted within the great room. To me, it's pretty great for many reasons. I'm a Libra, and Libras, if you know anything about us, we love art, we love beauty, we love all things that we think provide balance. I'm a musician, so this is my piano where I've written songs. Parties here always end up with us getting around this piano and singing. That's inevitable. I think when people come in here, they feel good and they feel like they can dream. This house had a big fire and we did a major gut renovation. It took over 2 years to gut renovate this house. My close friend, Will DeBose, really helped me re-envision this space. I think the theme of the house, especially the redesign of the house, was antiquity, modernity, timelessness, and peacefulness.
I can say that I made it through
This is my kitchen and dining room area. It's my favorite intimate space in the house. This is also my dining table. When the fire happened, it had extensive water damage, but I found this guy who did some restoration on it and he saved it. It was important to me because it really has a lot of memories. 3 months after Whitney Houston had passed, her entire family came over for a family dinner. We sat here and we talked. I'll always remember that particular dinner because it was like a sense of healing in this house. I was very lucky to find a brownstone that had so many beautiful original details. This new chandelier that Will picked out for me, I remember fighting with him in the store. I didn't understand why it was drooping that way, but when it fell into the room, it just really counterpointed well the length of it with some of the longer pieces here, and I just love it. This is the more private part of the home where I hang out most of the time when I'm home alone. I'm really hanging out here in the lounge. And on the walls, there's lots of memorabilia. There's awards for songs I've written for many artists, presidential invitations when I've been invited to the White House. One of the dearest pictures to me is the night I met Stevie Wonder. This is just memories of my life, my music, my career. I have a whole wall of family photos. Growing up in Teaneck, New Jersey, I was always fascinated with another Jersey girl who made a huge impact on the entire world, Miss Whitney Houston. My dream really came true, and I actually got to produce on 2 of Whitney Houston's albums. And as she came up to me, she said, "I think you want to do what I do, baby, and if that's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do." She said it just like that. I was like, you know what, maybe I am good enough. If Whitney Houston says I can do this, then maybe I can do this. That's when I started recording as a solo artist, and the newest album, Surrender, includes a tribute to Whitney. So we're here now in the back part of the garden level where the master bedroom is, which also opens up with sliding doors to my office and my walk-in closet. I can just close my door and just be in here. I can get my work done, I can relax, I can watch TV. Behind the bed, there's some bit of exposed brick. And then we decided to put wood on the walls. It just felt earthy, it felt organic. And so that's why when I sleep here, I feel very protected and I feel very safe. As an entrepreneur, I've worked for myself for 21 years. You have to keep generating clients, you have to keep generating possibilities. And this office being so close in proximity to the garden feels that way. I love watering it because it's not just taking care of the plants, it's also taking care of the energy that pours into the space. Last and not least, these are Gordon's gardens at my home, which is called Lovesong. I hope you've enjoyed.
Gordon's home is a true labor of love, and we here at Open House just love. Coming up just after the break, we take a look at how one fashion blogger and creative director paid homage to the original details in her Los Angeles home. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Now we're in the historic district of Mid-Wilshire, Los Angeles, with creative director and fashion blogger Madeline Furlong. When designing her home, Madeline fell in love with the original details and sought to highlight the rich history of the space. See for yourself.
Hi, I'm Madeline Furlong. I'm a fashion blogger and creative director living in Los Angeles, California. Welcome to my apartment. I like to keep the color palette pretty neutral and focus on textures and finding and sourcing secondhand furniture and pairing it with more modern design elements. So the coffee table is one of my favorite vintage finds. I found it on Craigslist for $200, and turns out that it's actually a Carl Springer piece from the 1980s. It's resin, but it looks like marble, which is pretty cool. Above the lounge chair is a lighting sconce, and that corner is accented by a vintage Gibson guitar that was a gift from my father. And that whole section actually hides a door into my bedroom. And since I didn't want to use that door, I decided to just completely close it off. I made a large-scale painting to just set on top of the credenza and accented it with an orchid and some vases. And I loved that I didn't even have to get out my screwdriver. Just past the credenza, you walk into my dining room. It's a smaller space, so I wanted to keep it bright and airy. The dining room also seconds as my home office. So when I'm not working, I'm often hosting. The desk is the perfect space for this because it also can second as a bar. Moving on, the last space I want to talk about is my bedroom. I designed the space to be very calm, relaxed, and sanctuary-esque. I never mind when there are slight imperfections in the furniture pieces that I do purchase. A great example of this is the bench right in front of my bed. It's the perfect space to throw all my clothes on when I'm getting ready, but it also adds a really nice rustic element to the room because of the imperfections in it. Thank you guys so much for spending a bit of time with me in my LA home. This apartment has been a complete labor of love and an amazing experience to really showcase who I am through the design that I created.
If you're still curious about the price of this stylish Upper East Side gem, well, here it is. Were your guesses close? Let us know on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook at Open House TV. Thanks for watching. Like what you see on the show? Well, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We have so many more beautiful homes to share. It's all about love. Share these homes, you know?